Tonight you win $1 billion, and by tomorrow morning more than 700 million of it will be gone without you spending a single cent. But that's tomorrow. Right now it's an ordinary Tuesday night, and you don't know any of that yet. You're on the couch, half watching the drawing because the jackpot made the news. The ticket cost you $2, paid in change. First number, yours. Second, third. You sit up. Fourth, fifth, and the Powerball. You check your phone. You check it again. You check it 5 times because your brain refuses to file this under real. You don't scream. That's the part that surprises you. Your hands just go cold, and the room gets very, very quiet. Now look at what you're holding. That flimsy slip of thermal paper is what the law calls a bearer instrument. Whoever holds it owns it. No name on it. If it goes through the wash tonight, nobody owes you anything. It's the most valuable object you have ever touched, and it can be destroyed by a glass of water. One more thing before you call a single soul. Right now you are the only person on earth who knows the fine print of this moment. Silence is the first real asset you have ever owned. You will never have more leverage than you do tonight, and every person you tell spends a little of it. The first 72 hours, here's everything you must not do, and almost everyone does. You do not post it. You do not call your brother. You do not quit your job. On Monday, you walk in and you act bored. What you do is this. You sign nothing yet. You photograph the ticket, front and back. You put it somewhere fireproof. A safe deposit box costs about $60 a year, and this one will hold $500 million. Then you learn the single most important piece of fine print in the entire lottery system. In most states, a winner's full name and hometown are public record. The lottery is legally allowed to put your face on the press release because the lottery isn't selling tickets. It's selling winners. You are next week's advertisement. Only about a dozen states let you stay anonymous, and a few more let a lawyer collect the money so your name never appears at all. Past winners whose names went public got 10,000 begging letters in a month. Some got lawsuits. At least one needed a security detail and hired it too late. The rule of this floor, the prize is money, but the price is being known. Take the first, refuse the second. Week 1. The ticket is locked in a vault, and a clock you never knew existed is already running. In most states, you don't have minutes to claim, you have months. That delay is suddenly the most valuable thing you own, because the day you sign, your name can become public, and the whole world comes looking. So you spend the quiet building a wall, 3 people deep, before anyone knows your face. First a lawyer, so the prize gets claimed by a trust or an LLC, and the headline names a law office instead of you. Then an accountant, because the biggest tax bomb of your life is already ticking. And last, one advisor, and you only ask them a single question. Are you a fiduciary? Because that one word splits the world in two. A fiduciary is legally bound to protect your money, and everyone else is just a salesman who wants a piece of it. The whole wall costs you maybe $25,000 to guard $465 million. It is the cheapest insurance you will ever buy, and the only thing standing between you and the version of this story that ends with everything gone. The choice. You're in a government office that smells like carpet cleaner, and a polite woman slides you a form with 2 boxes, annuity or cash. And this is where the billboard finally tells you the truth. The $1 billion was never a pile of money sitting in a vault. It's an annuity, 30 payments spread across 29 years, each one about 5% bigger than the last. The actual cash in the prize pool, the real number today, is $465 million. The billion is what that cash would grow into if the state invested it for 3 decades. Listen to that again. The number on the billboard isn't your prize. It's a forecast, compound interest sold back to you as a gift. You take the cash. Almost every winner does, and with a real advisor, the math usually agrees. Money you control today beats money a state agency mails you in 2055. The pile just dropped by more than half, and you haven't bought anything, lost anything, or made a single mistake. Remember this feeling the next time you see a giant number in bright lights. The big font is the marketing. The small font is the money. Tax day, the claim is filed, and before the wire ever reaches you, the federal government takes its first bite. 24% withheld automatically. $111,600,000 gone before you blink. But here's the trap inside the trap. You aren't in the 24% bracket. At this altitude, you're in the 37% bracket, and the difference, roughly 60 million more, is due next April. The winners who go broke fastest are the ones who spent to the wire and forgot the second bill. Then your state steps up. Bought the ticket in New York? Another 10.9%. $50,685,000. Bought it in Florida or Texas? Zero. Same ticket, same numbers. A $50 million difference decided by a zip code. When it's all settled, the number that is finally permanently yours, $292,950,000. You just lost $700 million in two signatures. And here's the fine print under the fine print. A paycheck is taxed before you ever see it. The system doesn't trust you. A windfall is taxed after, because now you can afford the lawyers it negotiates with. The rules didn't change. Your seat at the table did. The wire. It lands on a gray Tuesday morning, 9 days after the claim. The banking app that said $214 last month now shows a number it was never designed to display. And the first thing money this size does is break your bank. A normal account is federally insured up to $250,000. Your balance is now 1,100 times the insurance limit. By lunch, you're in instruments you'd never heard of at breakfast. Treasury bills, sweep accounts, a private banker who answers on the first ring. Now do the only math that matters. Parked in the most boring portfolio on earth, $293 million throws off about $11.7 million a year. That is $32,000 a day, every day, forever, without ever touching the pile. The car you've kept as a screenshot for 3 years costs about 6 days of interest. You buy it in cash, and the salesman's hands shake more than yours did on the night you won. The line you crossed this morning, written in fine print. Below it, money is what you trade your time for. Above it, money manufactures time, and it never sleeps, never calls in sick, and never asks for anything back. The new fine print. You've heard the famous statistic, 70% of lottery winners go broke. Here's the fine print on the statistic itself. It's folklore. The foundation everyone cites disowned it years ago. The documented truth is quieter and worse. Researchers studied 1,900 real winners in Florida and found the money mostly didn't prevent disaster, it postponed it. Same crash, later date, bigger car. Meet the cautionary tale, Jack Whitaker. $314 million. The biggest single ticket in America at the time. Within 5 years, robbed of $545,000 in cash. Dragged through more than 400 legal actions. Family in ruins. His own words. I wish I'd torn that ticket up, because the moment your name is known, you become the deepest pocket within reach of everyone you have ever met. Your cousin's restaurant, your friend's sure thing, the stranger who slips on your driveway like it's a career. But your defense was built back in week 1. The trust that owns everything, the umbrella insurance, and one sentence your advisor taught you. Talk to my office. 3 words. They cost nothing, and they will save you 8 figures. Because money never changes what you are. It multiplies it. Multiply discipline, and you get a dynasty. Multiply chaos, and you get a documentary. Year 20, you did the boring thing, the thing nobody makes movies about. Index funds, treasury bills, a withdrawal rate your advisor approved. At 7%, money doubles roughly every 10 years. $293 million became $586 million while you were busy living. And somewhere in year 20, on an ordinary Tuesday, the line on the chart quietly crosses a number you've seen once before, on a billboard over a highway in the dark. $1 billion. Stand there for a second. The billboard promised you $1 billion, and the fine print took it away before you ever touched it. You didn't argue with the system. You didn't chase the number on the sign. That's the version of you that ends up in a documentary. You just held still for 20 years, letting the math walk it to your door. 20 years ago, you thought you won $1 billion. Tonight, you finally have one. After tax, fully real. In your trust's name, you learned that in week 1. The jackpot was never the prize. The prize was starting the compounding from the top of the ladder instead of the bottom. And that is the one thing no billboard will ever advertise. So, 292 million to 1. You'll probably never beat those odds. Statistically, almost nobody you will ever meet will. But you didn't watch this for the ticket. You watched it because you already live inside this exact document. The salary in the job listing is not your take-home. The 0% financing is not 0%. The headline number on a billboard, a paycheck, a loan, a lease is never the real number. The system speaks in 2 fonts, the big one that sells you and the small one that binds you. Everything we make here reads the small one out loud. So the next time the world shows you a giant glowing number, ask it the only question that ever matters. After what? Subscribe if you want the fine print read to you first. This is the fine print.